The Dominion warships emerged from hyperspace in a brilliant flash of light, their sleek obsidian hulls reflecting the sun as they positioned themselves in high Earth orbit. On the bridge of the command vessel, Fleet Commander Tak surveyed the blue planet with cold calculation. "Another primitive world," he remarked to his second-in-command, Officer Jun. "Pre-FTL civilization with minimal defensive capabilities. The Council has designated it a Class 3 acquisition." Jun nodded, studying the sensor readings. "Conventional weapons only. No energy shields. They'll be overrun within days." Tak walked slowly around the three-dimensional hologram of Earth, his six-fingered hand passing through cloud formations and mountain ranges. His species had conquered 17 worlds this cycle alone. Earth would be the 18th. "Begin standard procedures," Tak ordered. "Isolate their communications networks. Map their military installations. Identify their leaders." Jun bowed slightly. "It will be done, Commander." He turned to relay the orders to the bridge crew, each officer sitting at curved consoles that responded to touch and thought. On Earth, Commander Hannah Park stared at the classified satellite footage with growing dread. As head of Earth's Covert Defense Initiative, she alone knew what those ships meant, and what humanity's only hope might be. "They're here," she said into her secure phone. "Activate Protocol Omega." Her hand trembled slightly as she set the phone down. 5 years of preparation, of secrecy, of doubts, all leading to this moment. She looked around her office at the underground military complex. Pictures of her family sat on the desk. Would they survive what was coming? Commander Park, her assistant, Lieutenant Kwan, appeared at the door. "The President is waiting for your briefing." Hannah smoothed her uniform and gathered her tablet. "Tell him I'm on my way." In the Situation Room, 12 nervous faces turned toward her as she entered. The President, his security advisors, and military chiefs all wore expressions ranging from confusion to panic. "Commander Park," the President said, "please tell me what we're dealing with." Hannah connected her tablet to the main screen. "Sir, at 600 hours, our deep space monitoring system detected multiple objects entering Earth orbit. They match no known satellite or debris patterns." She pulled up the enhanced images. "These are vessels of non-human origin." The room fell silent. "Are you saying?" The Defense Secretary began. "Yes, sir. We are facing an alien invasion." Across the world, other governments were having similar meetings. The Dominion vessels made no attempt to hide their presence. In fact, they seemed to want to be seen. In his penthouse apartment in Seoul, tech billionaire Min-ho Lee watched the news reports with interest rather than fear. His phone rang, a secure line very few people had access to. "It's happening," said the voice on the other end. "I know," Min-ho replied. "Are the nodes in position?" "All 17 are ready." "Then we proceed as planned." Min-ho ended the call and walked to his private elevator. As one of the secret funders of Protocol Omega, he had a role to play in what came next. In an underground facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Jin began powering up equipment that had been developed in absolute secrecy for over a decade. The quantum entanglement nodes were humanity's ace in the hole, if they worked. "System check complete," one of his engineers reported. "All nodes responding." Dr. Jin nodded, his face illuminated by the blue glow of the central column, a 3-story tall structure filled with swirling quantum particles. Around him, 50 scientists and engineers monitored various stations, each working on a different aspect of the technology they hoped would save humanity. "Begin synchronization sequence," Jin ordered. The first reports of alien probes entering Earth's atmosphere came just as Dr. Jin's team completed their initial power-up. Small, spherical objects descending over major cities, silent, observing. In Tokyo, pedestrians stopped to point and filmed the metallic sphere hovering above the Shibuya crossing. In London, traffic halted as another probe descended near the Parliament building. In Rio, beachgoers fled as a sphere emerged from the ocean and hovered over the shoreline. On the Dominion command ship, TAC received the first data transmissions from the probes. As expected, Commander, reported the science officer. Their military technology is primitive. Nuclear fission weapons, rudimentary missile defense systems, aircraft that cannot leave the atmosphere. TAC nodded. And their command structure? Fragmented, multiple nation-states, no unified planetary government. Perfect. TAC's lips curled in what passed for a smile in his species. Prepare the address to their leaders. Standard subjugation protocol. Unknown to the Dominion, 17 human scientists wore specialized headsets in locations around the globe. Each headset connected directly to one of Dr. Jin's quantum entanglement nodes. As the Dominion probes scanned Earth, these scientists were scanning the Dominion. "I'm getting clear readings," said Dr. Min, one of Jin's most talented researchers. "Their communication frequencies, their navigation systems, it's all being mapped." Jin looked over her shoulder at the data streaming in. "Can you decode it?" "Not yet, but the quantum link is holding. Whatever technology they're using, our systems can interact with it." Suddenly, all broadcast signals on Earth were hijacked. Television, radio, internet, all displayed the same message. A holographic projection of TAC appeared, speaking in perfectly translated languages. "People of Earth, I am Fleet Commander TAC of the Dominion Expansion Forces. Your world has been designated for acquisition. Resistance is ill-advised but expected. Surrender your governments to Dominion authority within 12 of your Earth hours, and your transition to productive members of our empire will be peaceful. Resist, and we will respond accordingly." In the Situation Room, the President turned to Hannah. "What options do we have?" Hannah took a deep breath. "Sir, for the past 10 years, a classified project has been developing a defense system specifically designed for this scenario." "What? How could you possibly prepare for something we didn't know was coming?" "Because, Mr. President," Hannah said, "this isn't our first contact with alien life, just the first public one." As the 12-hour deadline approached, Dr. Jin's facility hummed with activity. The quantum nodes were fully operational, connected to specializers all over the world. Jin received the authorization code from Commander Park. "It's time," he told his team. "Activate Protocol Omega." The quantum entanglement nodes pulsed with blinding light. In orbit, the Dominion ships suddenly found their systems responding strangely. Humanity's secret weapon was now online. The real battle for Earth was about to begin. The first attacks came without warning. Precision strikes against military installations, followed by targeted electromagnetic pulses that disabled power grids across major cities. Conventional forces scrambled to respond, but missiles simply disintegrated against the Dominion shields. The night sky over Washington, D.C. lit up as if daylight had suddenly returned. Streaks of purple energy slammed into the Pentagon, reducing half the building to smoking rubble in seconds. Similar attacks happened simultaneously at military bases worldwide. China's missile facilities, Russia's Northern Fleet, India's defense headquarters, all destroyed in under 3 minutes. In New York, the power failed first. Then came the panic. Millions of people rushed into streets lit only by headlights and emergency generators. Similar scenes played out in London, Tokyo, and 100 other cities. From his command ship, Officer Jun directed the invasion forces with practiced efficiency. "Deploy ground units to secure the primary population centers," he ordered. "Minimal casualties. The Council wants this planet's workforce intact." "Yes, sir," replied the ground force commander. "First wave deploying now." On tactical displays, hundreds of dropships detached from the larger vessels. Each one carried 30 Dominion soldiers in full battle armor. The teardrop-shaped craft entered Earth's atmosphere in perfect formation, their hulls glowing red from the heat of entry. Jun allowed himself a small moment of satisfaction. His promotion after this mission was all but guaranteed. Taking a Class 3 world should add significant prestige to his military record. "Sir," a junior officer called out, "Earth forces are launching air-to-air missiles at our dropships." Jun barely looked up. Standard defense protocols. Let me know when they realize their weapons are useless. On the ground, the situation seemed hopeless. General Kim of the South Korean Air Force watched as his fighter jets engaged the alien dropships. Missiles hit their targets directly but exploded harmlessly against invisible shields. "Fall back," he ordered. "Weapons ineffective." I repeat, weapons ineffective. Similar reports came in from every military still able to communicate. Conventional weapons couldn't penetrate Dominion defenses. Earth's militaries, once thought invincible by their own populations, were being systematically neutralized. But as the Dominion dropships entered Earth's atmosphere, something unexpected happened. Navigation systems suddenly went haywire. Communication channels filled with static. The first dropship to experience problems was over Brazil. Its pilot fought with controls that suddenly responded as if they had a mind of their own. The craft veered sharply left, then right, its formation broken. "Control, this is Transport 347. Systems malfunctioning. Request emergency protocols." No answer came through the static-filled communication channels. Around it, other dropships began experiencing similar issues. Some spun wildly. Others shot upward instead of continuing their descent. "What's happening?" TOC demanded as reports flooded in from confused field commanders. The command bridge, normally calm and ordered, descended into chaos as officers tried to make sense of the widespread system failures. "Unknown, Commander," the chief systems officer replied. "We're detecting unusual energy patterns interfering with our navigation and communication systems. A defense system we missed." TOC's voice carried a dangerous edge. "Impossible. Our scans showed nothing capable of this." More reports flooded in. Dropships crashing into oceans. Ground forces landing in wrong locations. Weapons systems locking up. In her mobile command center, Commander Hannah watched the first results of Protocol Omega with grim satisfaction. "The nodes are working," she told her team. "Now for Phase 2. Her command center was a converted truck trailer, hidden beneath an abandoned warehouse in Seoul. Screens showed the current status of the 17 quantum entanglement nodes and the chaos unfolding in the skies above. "Send the activation signal," she ordered. Her communications officer nodded. Signal sent. Neural interfaces activating worldwide. Hannah checked her watch. They had practiced this countless times, but never with actual alien invaders. The next few minutes would determine humanity's fate. Across the globe, thousands of specially trained individuals activated neural quantum interfaces disguised as ordinary medical implants. As they did, the Dominion invasion force experienced something they'd never encountered before: humans who could mentally interface with and disrupt alien technology. In a small apartment in Mumbai, Arjun Patel sat in lotus position, his eyes closed. The small implant behind his ear warmed slightly as it activated. In his mind, he suddenly saw streams of data, alien code running through Dominion systems. With thoughts alone, he reached out and began changing small pieces of that code. Above Mumbai, a Dominion dropship's weapon systems suddenly powered down. In Vancouver, college student Minji focused intensely as her neural interface connected her to the Dominion network. She had trained for 3 years for this moment. The alien code appeared in her mind like glowing symbols. She found the navigation protocols and began subtly altering coordinates. Similar scenes played out worldwide. Each human with a neural interface could see and manipulate specific Dominion systems. Some focused on weapons, others on navigation, communications, or life support. On the command ship, TOC stared in disbelief at the reports. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "How can primitives bypass our security protocols?" Officer June studied the incoming data. "Sir, the interference patterns suggest it's as if they're accessing our systems directly, not through technology, but through some other means. That's impossible." Nevertheless, it's happening. Dropship failure rate is now at 60%. Ground forces report their weapons won't fire. TOC slammed his fist onto the command console. Launched the second wave. Full invasion protocols. No more concern for minimizing casualties. But even as he gave the order, the lights on the command bridge flickered. Screens flashed with error messages. The ship's artificial gravity wavered. "Sir," a panicked officer called out, "something is accessing our core systems." In her hidden command center, Hannah received the news with cautious optimism. How many interfaces are successfully connected? Nearly 8,000, her tech officer reported. They're disrupting dropships, weapons, communications, everything we hoped for. And casualties. Some headaches, nosebleeds. 2 operators lost consciousness but are stable. Hannah nodded. The neural interfaces put tremendous strain on the human brain. They could only be used for short periods before causing damage. Keep me updated on their condition. They have 13 more minutes before mandatory disconnect. On the ground, the first battles between Dominion ground forces and Earth militaries were not going as the aliens expected. Their energy weapons misfired or didn't work at all. Their battle armor, normally enhancing strength and speed, locked up mid-movement, leaving soldiers vulnerable. A Dominion commander found himself and his unit stranded in an empty field outside Rome, their dropship having veered off course by hundreds of kilometers. "Control, we need immediate extraction," he called into his communicator. Only static answered him. In orbit, Tak faced the unthinkable. "Retreat. Recall all forces," he finally ordered. "Something is very wrong with this planet." June looked shocked. "Sir, we've never retreated from a Class 3 acquisition. We've never encountered anything like this," Tak replied grimly. "Recall everyone. We need to regroup and understand what we're facing." As Dominion forces scrambled to retreat, Hannah allowed herself a small smile. Phase 2 had worked better than they had dared hope, but this was just the beginning. "They'll be back," she told her team. "With bigger ships and better defenses, we need to prepare for Phase 3. The battle for Earth had just begun, but for the first time in Dominion history, a supposedly easy conquest had turned into a humiliating retreat. "Impossible," Fleet Commander Tak whispered as he reviewed the reports. "Somehow, the humans were manipulating Dominion technology using nothing but their minds. How can a primitive species possess such abilities?" The command center had gone quiet. Battle-hardened officers stared at screens showing the humiliating retreat of their forces. Never in recorded Dominion history had a Class 3 acquisition failed. Yet their dropships had crashed, their weapons had misfired, and their communications had dissolved into static. Tak replayed the sensor footage again. There was no technology involved. At least none that their scans could detect. It was as if the humans were reaching directly into Dominion systems with their thoughts. "Run a full genetic scan on the human population," Tak ordered. "Compare it to all known species in our database." The science officer bowed slightly. "It will take several hours, Commander." "Do it. And increase our orbit distance. I want us out of range of whatever they're doing." As the command ship pulled back, smaller vessels continued to retrieve stranded ground forces. The operation that should have taken hours would now require days. Officer Jun hurried onto the bridge, clutching an ancient data cube. His face showed an unusual expression for a Dominion officer. Fear. "Sir, I found something in the archives," he said, approaching Tak with the small, glowing object. "There are legends of a race that could merge consciousness with technology, a race the Dominion ancestors feared and drove to extinction 20,000 years ago." Tak's eyes narrowed. "The architects. Those are just stories to frighten young ones." "I believe so too," Jun said, placing the cube into a reader. "But look at this." The holographic display showed ancient text and diagrams. Images of beings connecting mentally with machines, warnings about their power. The architects were said to build their technology into their very DNA, Jun explained. They could control machines with thought alone. Our ancestors considered them too dangerous to exist. "You're suggesting these humans are descendants?" Tak asked incredulously. "The genetic markers match. They've been dormant all this time, until something activated them. Tak stared at the ancient records. If true, this changed everything. Not just this mission, but potentially the power balance of the entire galaxy. Who else knows about this? He asked quietly. Only me, sir. I accessed the restricted archives on my own authority. Keep it that way. Tak's mind raced with implications. If the Council learned humans carried architect DNA, they might order the planet destroyed rather than risk another war with their ancient enemy. But if he could capture this power for himself. On Earth, the mood was cautiously victorious. The alien retreat had been broadcast worldwide. People celebrated in streets still dark from power outages. For the first time in history, humanity stood united against an extraterrestrial threat. In the underground laboratory beneath the Pacific, Dr. Jin examined the results from the neural interfaces. Most operators had recovered from the strain, though a few suffered lingering headaches and nosebleeds. The connection was stronger than we anticipated, he told his team. The neural pathways are becoming more efficient with use. His assistant, Dr. Song, looked up from her data. It's like the interfaces are adapting to the human brain, or maybe the brain is adapting to the interfaces. Both, perhaps, Jin mused. We always knew this technology would change us. We just didn't know how much. That something was the quantum physics experiments conducted by Dr. Jin a decade earlier. What began as research into faster computing had accidentally awakened an ancient ability encoded in human DNA, the capacity to form neural quantum connections with technology. Jin remembered that day clearly. They had been working on quantum entanglement as a communication method. The test subject, a young researcher named Han, had been monitoring the quantum field when something unexpected happened. The field had somehow synchronized with his brainwaves. For several seconds, Han had been able to manipulate the quantum particles with his thoughts alone. The experiment had nearly killed him, but it revealed a startling possibility. Humans might have an innate ability to connect with quantum systems at a neural level. Years of secret research followed. They discovered this ability existed in roughly 15% of the population, lying dormant until activated by specific quantum frequencies. It was as if humanity had been carrying the hidden superpower in their genes, waiting for the right moment to awaken. In her secure office, Commander Hannah Park prepared for the most important presentation of her life. The United Nations Emergency Council had convened in a bunker beneath Geneva. Representatives from every nation waited to hear her explanation for how humanity had repelled the alien invasion. Her aide, Lieutenant Quan, entered with the latest reports. The Dominion ships have pulled back to high orbit. Our satellites show they're regrouping, not leaving. As expected, Hannah replied. They'll be back, and better prepared. The Council is ready for you, Commander. Hannah nodded, gathering her materials. The world's leaders deserved to know the truth, or at least as much of it as they could handle. The council chamber was tense when she entered. Faces showed a mixture of relief, fear, and suspicion. Many clearly wondered if their own countries had been developing secret weapons without sharing. Commander Park, the Secretary General began. The world awaits your explanation for what happened yesterday. Hannah stepped to the podium. 10 years ago, a classified research project discovered something extraordinary in human DNA. A dormant ability to connect neurologically with quantum systems. Murmurs spread through the room. This ability allows certain individuals, with proper training and technology, to interface directly with electronic systems, including, as we discovered yesterday, alien technology. Are you saying some humans are? What? Psychic? Asked the Russian representative skeptically. Not psychic, Hannah clarified. It's completely biological and follows scientific principles. Think of it as having a natural Wi-Fi system built into certain human brains. She continued explaining Protocol Omega, the network of quantum entanglement nodes, the neural interfaces, the years of secret training. As she spoke, understanding dawned on the faces before her. Why were we never informed of this capability? demanded the Chinese representative. Because we didn't know if it would work, Hana answered honestly, and because power like this would change global politics forever. We needed to understand it first. The American representative leaned forward. How many people have this ability? Approximately 15% of the global population carries the genetic markers. Of those, we've trained only a few thousand. The implications silenced the room. If properly harnessed, this ability could remake civilization even without the alien threat. The Dominion will return, Hana continued. They expected easy prey. Instead, they've awakened humanity's greatest power. But to survive what comes next, we need global cooperation on a scale never before seen in human history. She looked at the assembled leaders. This is no longer about nations or borders. It's about the survival of our species. As the council erupted into debate, Hana thought about what she hadn't told them. Dr. Jin's latest discovery that the ability was spreading, jumping between people like a benevolent virus. The more the neural interfaces were used, the more people developed the ability naturally. Humanity wasn't just fighting back, it was evolving. In orbit, Tak made his decision. He would not report the full truth to the council yet. First, he needed to capture some humans and study this ability. If he could harness it for himself, the possibilities were endless. Prepare a stealth insertion, he ordered June. I want specimens. The real war for Earth was just beginning. The Dominion called for reinforcements as their ground forces retreated. What should have been a routine acquisition had become a nightmare. 3 massive carrier ships emerged from hyperspace, each one twice the size of Tak's command vessel. They carried enough firepower to glass the surface of a small moon. Tak stood rigid as the holographic image of council representative Naru appeared before him. The ancient Dominion leader's face was set in lines of cold fury. How can you lose to a pre-FTL civilization? The council representative demanded. His voice echoed through the command bridge, making junior officers shrink at their stations. They are not what we thought, Tak replied, fighting to keep his voice steady. The humans are manifesting abilities we've only seen in legend. Naru's eyes narrowed. Explain. They can interface with our technology using their minds alone. No physical connection required. We believe they carry architect DNA. The mention of the ancient enemy caused Naru to pause. For a moment, genuine concern replaced anger on his face. You have evidence of this? Yes, Representative. I've sent the data to you now. After reviewing the information, Naru's expression darkened. This changes our approach. Your new orders are to capture specimens for study and prepare the planet for sterilization. Sterilization. Even Tak was shocked. That would destroy resources valued at. The risk outweighs any potential gain. If these humans truly carry architect abilities, they cannot be allowed to develop further. Naru's transmission ended abruptly. Tak turned to Officer June, who had witnessed the exchange. Prepare targeted abduction missions, small teams, cloaked vessels. I want live specimens within 3 planetary rotations. And the sterilization order? June asked quietly. Tak looked out at the blue planet below. Delayed until we understand what we're dealing with. On Earth, ordinary people were discovering they could disrupt alien systems with concentrated thought. What had begun with the trained operators was spreading rapidly. Dr. Jin called it quantum resonance. Once activated, the ability seemed to awaken in those nearby. In a small classroom in Seoul, schoolteacher Su Jin discovered her new power when a Dominion surveillance drone flew past her window. She felt a strange tingling in her mind, like hearing a new sound for the first time. When she focused on that feeling, the drone suddenly spun in circles before crashing. Did you see that? Her students gasped, rushing to the window. Su Jin stared at her hands, amazed and frightened by what had just happened. In rural Brazil, Farmer Diego was checking his crops when he sensed something moving above the clouds. Not seeing or hearing it, sensing it like a new form of perception. He concentrated on the strange feeling and suddenly could see a Dominion scout ship, cloaked and invisible to normal sight. With a thought, he redirected its sensors to scan empty forest instead of his village. The ship moved away, its crew unaware they had been manipulated. Similar stories emerged worldwide. A taxi driver in Cairo, a fisherman in Alaska, a teenager in Sydney. People with no connection to Protocol Omega were manifesting the ability spontaneously. In the Central Command Center established beneath Geneva, Commander Hannah Park reviewed these reports with growing excitement and concern. "It's spreading faster than we predicted," Dr. Jin told her via secure video link. "The quantum resonance effect is exponential. By our new calculations, up to 30% of the population could develop some level of ability within weeks." "Can we control it?" Hannah asked. "No more than we can control people learning to read. Once awakened, the ability seems as natural as any other sense. People are teaching themselves to use it." Hannah considered the implications. "This changes our strategy. We need to move from defense to offense." She called her top lieutenants together. The underground room hummed with activity as analysts tracked Dominion ship movements and cataloged new reports of abilities manifesting. "We need to take one of their ships intact," she told her lieutenants. "Dr. Jin believes we can use our abilities to control their own technology against them." Captain Sung, her most skilled operative, stepped forward. "My team is ready. We've been practicing with the neural interfaces for longer than anyone." Sung was a former Special Forces soldier, one of the first to show strong compatibility with the neural quantum connection. Where most operators could affect one system at a time, Sung could manipulate multiple systems simultaneously. "It's too risky," objected General Kwan, the military liaison. "We should focus on planetary defense." "The best defense is a good offense," Hannah replied. "If the Dominion wants to study us, we should study them too." The opportunity came 3 days later when Officer Jun's scout vessel was detected entering low orbit on a cloaked mission. Unlike the larger ships, the scout vessel operated with a minimal crew of only 6 Dominion soldiers. Captain Sung and his team of 5 operators deployed from a hidden base in the Himalayas. Their small craft, built with reverse-engineered technology from earlier alien encounters, rose silently into the night sky. "Target located," Sung reported to Hannah. "Their cloaking technology is good, but not when you can sense it directly." "Proceed with caution," Hannah replied from command. "Remember, we need the ship intact and at least one live alien for questioning." Sung's team approached from below the alien vessel. Using their neural interfaces, they created a blind spot in the ship's sensors, a bubble of nothing that contained their approach craft. "We're within docking range," Sung whispered, though the aliens couldn't hear him, beginning neural override of their entry system. Inside the Dominion scout ship, Officer Jun frowned at a momentary flicker on his console. "Run a diagnostic on Sensor Array 3, he ordered a technician. "I saw something irregular." Before the technician could respond, the ship's lighting faltered. The entry hatch at the rear of the vessel opened without command. "Security breach," Jun shouted, drawing his energy weapon. "Seal all compartments." But the internal doors refused to close. The ship's systems were no longer responding to Dominion commands. Captain Sung's team boarded swiftly, moving through the vessel with practiced precision. Each operator focused on a different system: propulsion, weapons, life support, communications. Using their neural quantum abilities, they took control of the ship's functions one by one. The Dominion crew fought back with energy weapons, but found their weapons losing power mid-shot. It was as if the very tools they relied on had turned against them. Officer Jun fired at Sung, only to have his weapon sputter and die. The human approached calmly, focused intently on Jun's battle armor. The Dominion officer suddenly found himself unable to move as his own suit locked into position. "How is this possible?" Jun demanded as Sung's team secured the bridge. "You're violating the natural order." "Perhaps we're restoring it," Sung replied. His team had subdued the crew with minimal violence, controlling their armor rather than harming the aliens themselves. Sung activated his communication link. "Commander, we have control of the vessel and 6 Dominion prisoners. The ship is intact." In the command center, Hannah allowed herself a brief smile. "Excellent work. Bring it to the secondary facility for study." For the first time in centuries, the Dominion faced defeat. As Sung piloted the captured vessel to Earth, scientists worldwide prepared to study its technology. With the neural quantum connection, humans could not only understand alien systems but improve upon them. In orbit, Commander Tak received the news of Jun's capture with mounting dread. The Council would not be pleased. Worse, the humans now had access to Dominion technology and a high-ranking officer with valuable information. "Prepare the fleet for full engagement," he ordered. "We will recapture that vessel and complete our mission." But as his crew hurried to obey, Tak wondered if it was already too late. The humans were evolving faster than anyone had predicted. What would they become in a year? A decade? For the first time in his long career, Fleet Commander Tak faced a possibility he had never considered before. The Dominion might lose. 3 months after the invasion began, Fleet Commander Tak stood before Commander Hannah in Earth's newly established Interstellar Diplomatic Center. The massive glass and steel structure had been built in record time on the shores of Lake Geneva, designed to host representatives from beyond the stars. Tak looked thinner, his normally imposing frame diminished by recent events. The final battle had cost the Dominion dearly. 3 carrier ships destroyed, thousands of soldiers lost, and most concerning to the Dominion Council, the humans had begun to reverse engineer their technology with alarming speed. "The Dominion Council has authorized me to recognize Earth as a sovereign power," he said formally. "We seek peaceful relations." Hannah maintained a neutral expression despite the victory this represented. Around her stood representatives from Earth's major nations, all watching the historic moment with barely contained emotion. Some showed pride, others suspicion. She knew the truth. The Dominion didn't want peace. They wanted to ensure humanity didn't turn its new abilities against their homeworlds. Intelligence gathered from Officer June had confirmed their fears. The Dominion Council had initially ordered Earth's destruction, but changed course when they realized humans could potentially detect and disable planet-killer weapons before they struck. "We accept your recognition," she replied. "But understand this, humanity will now take its place among the stars. Not as prey, but as equals." Tak's eyes narrowed slightly at her choice of words. "The treaty has been prepared according to standard Dominion protocols for new spacefaring species." Hannah took the offered data tablet but didn't look at it. "We've prepared our own version. You'll find the terms similar with some additions." The alien commander accepted the human tablet with reluctance. As he read, his expression shifted from diplomatic calm to barely controlled anger. "These terms demand access to Dominion star charts, trade routes, and technological specifications. This is unprecedented. So is a species developing neural quantum abilities overnight." Hannah countered. "Unprecedented is our new normal, Commander." After tense negotiations, a modified treaty was signed. The Dominion would recognize Earth's sovereignty and provide limited technological and navigational assistance. In return, humans would not use their abilities against Dominion worlds. Both sides knew it was merely a pause in a longer game. Back in her private office, Hannah met with Dr. Jin and their unexpected ally. Officer Jun, who had defected during the final battle, now worked with Dr. Jin to explore the full potential of humanity's neural quantum abilities. "The Dominion will honor this treaty only until they develop countermeasures," Jun warned. His translator conveyed his words with a slight mechanical accent. "How long will that take?" Hannah asked. "Years, perhaps decades. My people are methodical, but not particularly creative. They'll try to block the neural quantum connection rather than understand it." Dr. Jin brought up a holographic display showing the latest data. The ability had spread to nearly 40% of Earth's population, with varying levels of strength. Children born after the invasion all showed signs of the ability. suggesting it was becoming a permanent part of human genetics. Your people are just beginning to understand what they can do, Jun told the scientist. The connection between mind and machine is only the first step. What's the next step? Jin asked. Connection between minds, perhaps. The architects were rumored to share thoughts as easily as we share words. The possibility both thrilled and concerned Hana. Humanity was changing faster than anyone could have predicted. What would they become? In orbit above Earth, construction was underway on humanity's first true space fleet. Using the captured Dominion vessel as a template, engineers had designed ships that blended alien technology with human innovation. Unlike Dominion vessels, these were built specifically to amplify the neural quantum connection. Captain Sung supervised the construction of the flagship, named Defender. He moved through the half-completed corridors, testing each system with his mind as easily as others might test with their hands. The navigation array needs adjustment, he told the engineering team. The quantum resonance is off by 3%. The chief engineer nodded, no longer surprised by Sung's ability to sense such minute details. We'll recalibrate immediately, Captain. The ship would be ready for its maiden voyage in less than a month. Not just a defensive vessel, but humanity's first step toward the stars. On the Dominion homeworld, the Council met in emergency session. Reports of the treaty with Earth had caused widespread concern among the ruling elite. We should have destroyed them when we had the chance, argued one council member, and risk awakening their abilities further, countered another. The reports suggest their power grows when threatened. The eldest council member raised a gnarled hand for silence. We have faced threats before. The architects themselves fell to our ancestors' determination. These humans, with their diluted gifts, will eventually meet the same fate. But doubt tinged his words. The Dominion had ruled through technological superiority for thousands of years. What place was there for them in a galaxy where technology could be controlled by thought alone? Back on Earth, schools worldwide had added new classes to their curriculum. Children practiced focusing their thoughts to interact with specially designed learning tools. What had been extraordinary months ago was now becoming ordinary, a new human sense developing alongside sight, hearing, and touch. In a classroom in Tokyo, a 6-year-old girl giggled as she made a small drone dance through the air using only her thoughts. Her teacher, once a concert pianist, now taught children to play technology as she once played music. Gentle thoughts, she reminded her students. The machine is your friend, not your servant. As Earth's first interstellar vessels prepared for launch, Commander Hannah looked to the stars with new perspective. From her office window, she could see the Defender in orbit, its sleek hull catching the sun's light. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged stronger. The neural quantum ability had spread beyond the original operators to become a shared human trait, evolving the species in real time. Hannah thought about the ancient architects, the race that the Dominion had feared enough to destroy. Were humans their descendants, or had they simply rediscovered the same evolutionary path? It didn't matter now. What mattered was the future they would build. Commander, her aide interrupted her thoughts. The President is ready for your briefing on the exploration initiative. Hannah nodded and gathered her materials. 5 new vessels would soon join the Defender, their mission to explore nearby star systems and establish humanity's presence beyond their solar system. The Dominion had come expecting easy prey, but instead had awakened humanity's sleeping potential, and now the galaxy would never be the same. The end.